Good evening. I'm Jane Paris, reporting live from the site of the Salem crater, where a mysterious...
You say parabox or paradox?
I don't think he has my friend's best interest in mind. Why, I wanted them to be ghosts for their own benefit.
Hannah's already died before, because that's how they became Hannah. Like, Dorothy died. Hannah could die. They might come back, though, because they're alive. But it could just be like, Hannah is gone, and then someone new is them.
This is the last stop before we get off. Are you sure this is the choice you want to make? Quickly, there's danger among us. And then
I'm gonna destroy it. Let's go stab that with your sword. That was God? God is so dumb. We're going to show you a great time.
What is your relationship with the God Machine? We are going to be delving into a mystery with...
I don't ever play. I always DM. I don't ever have to roll anything.
Now her fate is tied to that of the fools.
You look for something. Are you willing to gain it back for one final sacrifice? Come. There may yet be time for you to do so.
I push up my glasses. I had to stop her from screaming.
Richmond, Virginia is going through a bit of a crisis. You see, there are a lot of mages in this area who are getting displaced by the witch hunts going on. The details aren't clear, but it may be some sort of seer action. And so, your character is very wary. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your character, Drew?
Sure. Drifter, who he has a sympathetic name, but why would he ever give it out? He's a Mastigos and he knows better. So lots of space magic, lots of mind magic. Those are his very big focuses, but he's dabbled a little bit in spirit because he's Bene Ashmedai. That's his legacy. So very flamboyant, very stands out in a crowd, very tiger print, zebra print, real fur, leather kind of outfits, things that stand out, draw attention when he wants to, because being a Mastigos, incognito presence is just right on hand. So it's a lot of appearing where he wants to be suddenly, when did he get here kind of stuff. And now that Richmond is kind of his domain and he's settled here, he's got his bar and he likes to trade favors. He's very much quid pro quo.
Like when you're trading a favor for a favor?
Yes. He's also a lictor, or ex-lictor, and used to be a magic lawyer. So yeah, quid pro quo between the bar, being Mastigos, being Silver Ladder, believer in the Silver Ladder, the enlightened sage who's trying to teach people, trying to push people, even if it irritates them, very much into the Socratic method of, I don't know, what do you think method of teaching people? And he likes to be that pushy guy because he believes in you and he wants you to be better because he knows you can be better, even if it hurts.
I think that all of your efforts have not gone unnoticed. You've gotten the status and the acclaim. And what are your obsessions? What do you really want out of this world?
I actually have those written down. Yeah, he basically wants to form alliances with the strong arms of humanity to pull them under his, well, at least within Richmond, within his not necessary control, but his his purview, his observation, where he can, look in on them and they trust him without him necessarily having to come in with magic and change their minds, but where he's the sought after secret advisor, the shadow behind the throne, that kind of thing. That's his gig, and doing that to supernatural groups, hedge wizards, some of the various hunter groups like the Lucifuge, who are magical in nature, but
absolutely. The Lucifuge is one of the few hunter factions in this world that is not actively hunting mages. Like Vampire 5e, kind of, there used to be hunters going after vampires. It's not vampires, it's mages. They don't care so much about vampires, but they will kill them. And you said rallying the arms of humanity, but would those arms also include inhumanity? Because in the first few days of the siege of Richmond, a vampire comes to you. We'll just cut into that scene very briefly. We're here in Drifter's office. Your aide, Alexander, is waiting to help you with anything that you might need, as your old friend, Angel, has come to you, and they have brought members of their cabal. They are introducing you to a leader of a group called the Movement. She is a vampire. You would probably know, because of your politics and occult stats, that the Movement is sort of like the free council for these vampires. They believe in democracy, but they believe in democracy with a heavy hammer.
Sure, old school, like that.
Just like that. It does cause some problems, but you're getting a lot of political sway here if you are able to accommodate these people in some way. I am going to share out the list of potential allies and victims. That's right, this is secret information that you know and the fools do not. Her name is Alice Walker.
Yes.
She also goes by the name The Carpenter, and it would be polite to call her that. She has a fearsome bodyguard, and there's some other people here. One of them is a murderer, but we'll get to that later. Much later.
It's absolutely not that weird person in a mask. So, Miss Carpenter, you want my aid, and what's in it for me? Because the idea of having a bunch of Tirada staying in my establishment for any long period of time seems potentially problematic.
It is a problem, but you're going to have problems soon as well. If the forces that have moved on all of our havens come here next, you'll need someone to protect you. And we, the Movement, are willing to do that. I would offer protection to this bar.
And Drifter definitely has that like smug look, because let's be honest, Drifter's a mage. Doesn't need anybody's help, but and at this point, Drifter is aware of hunters and such moving against the supernatural community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it includes vampires and it includes werewolves. And werewolves come through here, but they're not staying here at the moment.
Right. Yeah, if you're willing to put on a smiling face and, play bouncer for the upper levels and keep things calm, cool, collected, and keep out busybodies, or at least let me know when inappropriate questions are being asked, this is a service that may be worth me ensuring that you have a warm, comfortable, sunless hole to hang out in.
Well, we were actually hoping that we could camp out in the garage area. We've got some mechanical projects we'd like to work on.
The garage is a little bit of a limited space. Like, I don't like people coming in and out. So I may have to restrict your movements a little bit, but I can see that the garage is closed off to other visitors. That way there's no temptations wandering into your coterie.
She agrees to your terms, and you part ways. The meeting seems to be a success, though your aide, Alexander, scoffs, is kind of like, you now have a vampire army, it seems.
I don't quite think they're an army, but don't throw away good tools just because they're dead.
I have so much to learn from you.
Probably.
The Free Council is soon back at your door. Anahel now has to seek your protection. You're providing it for the vampires, and they just don't think that their arcade is secure anymore. It's
what
not.
happened? What happened to the arcade? I made the arcade safe for you.
Well, there's this thing where when we tried to leave one of the doors, it got all ripply, and then it hurt.
I really don't have the time to look into that. For now, yes, find a place in the bar where you can set up and not be a nuisance, just kind of out of the way of the adults working. Of course, he means that jovially, but this is they're the Free Council, they're the new kids, just over there, kids. the kids table, if you would.
Soon, many people throughout the city start coming to you and seeking your protection. They've heard rumors of you sheltering other people, and as the violence gets worse, people need a place to shelter. Some plan on just stopping through. Others seem intent to stay as long as you'll allow them to do so. The news coming out of Salem is quite grim.
I'm Jane Paris, reporting live from the site of the Salem crater, where a mysterious explosion has occurred earlier today. The blast was so powerful that it caused a tri-state blackout and triggered a state of emergency. The authorities have not yet released any official statement on the
So
cause
there's a
or the
disaster.
extent of the damage.
It's related to
But we have
portal
learned that
stuff,
a
and
secret
I'm
research
stuck
facility
here
was operating inside the crater,
babysitting a bar
studying a phenomenon
full of
that some
refugees.
sources describe as a
Drifter
portal
goes
to
from
another
being
dimension.
like, okay, I'm going
The
to take care of
explosion
people,
may
I'm going to
have been
wheel a
caused by an
deal.
accident
Now
or a sabotage,
he has to
but no one
confront the
knows for sure
problem
what
of
happened
the
or
wheeling
who
and
is
dealing
responsible.
silver ladder
The
side of
military has
him,
cordoned off
and
the
then the
area and is
Mastigos mage.
evacuating
I want to
Salem
learn
so
more
the
about
FBI
space
and
side of him, and this is very
DHS
frustrating and
we will keep
very
you updated on this
irritating.
developing story as more information
That's
becomes
right.
available.
You feel
Back to
the
you,
pull
Tom.
between your identity that you've established and the name that once fit you, Drifter. You haven't drifted in years. And so we're going to cut now. That is the end of that scene. We're jumping into the consequences. It's an exciting time. We are going to be delving into a mystery with Drew from Occultists Anonymous. Oh my gosh.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Hi.
The time ship has arrived in Richmond, Virginia, for reasons that may or may not relate to the destruction of the city. The two of you, that is Victoria and Ish's characters, rides the storm, and at the moment, Ethyl Stubbs is your name. But since you have arrived in Richmond, Virginia, Ethyl Stubbs, you have been followed by a ghost. A ghost who has a personal tie to the city. A ghost who was once a witch quite dear to you. You are being followed by the real Ethyl Stubbs.
Oh my god.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about the real Ethyl Stubbs that I'm going to write down.
So Ethel Stubbs had been her governess, so raised her and taken care of her, and was just sort of a down-to-earth, sweet woman with a thick accent that Ethel always sort of loved and kind of made fun of her for, because teenagers are awful. But this is the person who would sit with her and help her do her homework, who would tell her stories in the evening because parents weren't around a ton, and who would always comfort her after she came home from her grandmother's, which was never a particularly pleasant experience. And she seemed to understand why visiting with Ethyl's grandmother was so complicated in a way that Ethyl never really did. And she always told her little kind of stories and fables and things that, like, Ethyl thought were sort of just fun at the time, but I guess if she thought about it now, living in this weird and magical world, maybe there was something a little bit truer about the story she had been telling her.
Funny how that works, isn't it? And so the stories that you had been told have now come into your life. Those tales of witchcraft and wizardry. They're just so tiresome, boring, and real. Ethyl is living in a reality of grown-ups. Having just turned 21 in some ways, Ethyl is eager to be free of responsibility. But all the other fools are here in the city going after this massively powerful demon, and you have been sent on it's not less important mission, because they did stress that they really need this done to deal with the other problem, but it's a smaller demon, a demon that seems to be working in concert to a larger threat here in Richmond, Virginia. You are now, for some reason, being graced by this ghost. She's with you. And so too is Hunts the Storm, and a third beraggled mage. That mage is a character that you have brought from the time ship, and I'm going to screen share out. And let's just check in with Hunts the Storm, Ethyl, and Ethyl. Second Ethyl is this purple ghost. Oh yes, she's a ghost. She's hanging out with you. As for this lunatic, they are here with you, and they are mostly just shuffling around. They got a big stone knife around their neck. You don't really know too much about them. However, you do know that Hannah seems to trust them somewhat. Ish. Hannah actually said, "Be careful, don't look away from the Nemean." But it's like they trust them.
I do need to clarify for the folks at home. I'm not playing the Nemean.
I suppose 4 if you count ghosts and bedraggled. Nemean's not saying anything. They're just like walking next to you.
I remember very clearly Ethel Stubbs talking about a hairdresser she used to go to whenever she come back to visit her family here that she said could do magic. And I really thought that all she meant was that it kept her grays away in a way that you probably would never notice she was graying if you didn't like look real close. But maybe she could do real magic. And, you know.
Child, you can't keep going on like this. You have a responsibility here to these people. We can't have my fair city here be killed. Come on. And she's going to lead you after Hunts the Storm, who of course is dutifully walking towards the mission.
I throw my head back and I'm like scuffling my feet in the most, unwilling, childish, petulant sort of way.
That tracks. Hunts the Storm, this city is new to you. You've never seen electricity, at least on this scale.
It's a bit overwhelming, but fascinating at the same time. So, still fundamentally a city or a village. Still, there's pavements, there's roads, there's buildings. Familiar with these concepts. It's the lights mainly that's most jarring. Electricity.
Yeah. And the whole city is lit up. So, just for reference.
And my senses are very keen, so everything is the sounds, the lights, the smells.
Yeah.
It's the literal a lot. Yeah.
That's right. It is so much, overwhelming. And there are spirits here. There are other werewolf scents here. If you were easily distracted, you would be off course rapidly, as Ethyl is, except for the ghost keeping Ethyl on track.
Since Ethyl is, very, coming up very slow behind, he occasionally stops and stares at something and like investigates it, from afar for a bit, and then keeps moving forward. So that's
Yeah, so I think that cars are definitely something that catches your eye. But I would have you roll your wits composure, and Ethyl, I would have you roll your wits streetwise.
That's 1.
You're gonna roll a single die.
I got a 10 on it. God. That was loud.
Roll
I'm
that 10
sorry.
again. The 10 is still, it's not only a success, it's a success and
Is the second roll because I got a 3.
oh well, you got a success. You've never been to Richmond, Virginia, but something about this city makes your skin crawl. It's almost as if there's something wrong about this entire place. Ish, successes on that wits composure check. 6 successes. You get a vibe like you once had seen these 2 tribes go to war, and it was that same tenseness. This whole place it's like just a skin. Everything here is the same. You are not distracted by any of the technology. You are quickly able to assess that the people here are on edge. You gain a beat and the condition aware, which you can redeem for a +2 bonus on a perception check of some kind. Something else is wrong, is not what you expected. As you approach the target, a place called the Stag and Lion, you, Ethyl, see someone that you recognize. It's like there's a bunch of familiar faces coming out to say hi this time, but that doesn't seem right, does it? That seems, in fact, quite bizarre that such a thing would happen. As you are scolded along by your ghost nurse, you see another servant of your family. It's standing outside the door, a massive man with a facial tattoo. He's got a little clipboard, or maybe an iPad. I'm going to jump inside the bar for just a moment to where the bartender is meeting with their employer, Drifter, played by Drew.
Hi.
One of the problems that you are encountering here is that it's a Friday night, it's very busy, and you're in the middle of a semi-crisis. You see, the hunter organization that came into the city a few months ago has ordered a tactical strike. They've taken out several safe houses belonging to witches, and the Pentacle is now trying to figure out, was this coordinated through the Seers? Was this something that has come about purely by sleeper interaction? Seems improbable, right? It's definitely the Seers. And so it's like the war that happened 4 years ago has happened again. The Silver Ladder has finally gotten a foothold in the city after 4 years ago when they were wiped out to a man, one man, Virgil here in the city. Now, you are the heart of the Silver Ladder. You've drifted into this town, but you stayed here for quite some time. And it is now your city. You are looked to as like the lead Silver Ladder in this town, which is why people hold you accountable. You have several people here in the bar watching you now. The bartender is not your sleepwalker retainer. He's got the main Stag bar down here. He's a sleepwalker. And that means he's suspicious.
Yep.
These days. And he is essentially saying that the bouncer says, there's so many people outside, they all want to come in, but you don't really have room for more people. He's wondering if you could do something about it.
Okay, I was gonna say, Drifter looks at him and it's like, I am personally insulted that you don't think there's enough room in this place. Like, there's always room in the Stag and Lion. But wait, hang on. What do you mean there's more people outside? Like, are we... looking left, looking right. Do you mean like more refugees or like
Oh,
customers?
no, more customers, but well, maybe you should see for yourself.
Okay, so Drifter does.
Okay. Outside, just kind of like lined up here, and there's like a lot of them, it's more than 6, let's say 50. These circles representing a lot of people.
Sure.
As you walk outside, you see that there is a massive line to get into the club. And I would like you, as you look at them, let's say roll investigate or empathy with an attribute of your choice.
All right. As I dig out my handy dandy dice roller, because I don't ever play. I always DM. I don't ever have to roll anything. I just say things happen. He's a Mastigos. He understands people. Whether or not he cares about said people is a whole other thing.
Do you have any specialties in empathy?
I do motives.
Instant success. As you look at these people here in line, you can tell that there is something wrong with them. Their motives for entering this club are not to have fun. All of the people in line, a suspicious number of, like, maybe not 100% all, like you can see all the way back in the line, there's like a couple who are kind of like dancing in the line, but everybody else is kind of standing there, ready to go inside. If they're talking to one another, they've got very closed off body language, except for these 3 random people who have walked towards the bar. One of them looks very disheveled.
Rides in the storm is essentially a indigenous American male in his late 20s, early 30s, is dressed in what's considered modern clothing, but it's if you're pretty perceptive, you can tell he's not that comfortable with his clothing yet. Everything seems very practical and pragmatic. He seems to have little knick-knack things around him. The most notable is a huge turtle token necklace, totem on his chest, and has a very serious and like gazing stare and aura about him, just trying to assess what's going on.
Not here for a party, here on business.
Yeah.
You would be. You all would be.
You can tell that this person who is walking up with a mission is not with those other people in line, and in fact does not seem to even be interested in waiting in that line, I assume. You and Ethyl are just walking directly to the head, as you would do. Are you reacting to the man who dragged your body into a pile of corpses being a bouncer at the door to this establishment?
I was wondering if it was that guy.
It was that guy. You turned him into a frog.
Yeah, what? I guess after this? Yeah, I feel like the feet dragging just becomes like stopped feet, right? Like
How far away?
as soon as I can see him.
I think he's like stepped out and he's showing a man.
Drifter is a high fashion goth cowboy, to throw a couple terms. It's very eye catching. He's got guy liner on. His hair is very normally would be like well done up, but definitely looks like it looks like he hasn't slept in a couple days and just is looking a little ragged. But yeah, long like drover's coat, but done up leather goth with like gold on the inside. It's flashy, it's eye-catching, it's a little bit obnoxious, but unfortunately he pulls it off and you gotta respect him for it kind of thing. But yeah, and looking real tired. Half of Drifter's Pinterest board is Doc Holliday. So yeah.
You know that the bartender inside they were talking to you for a little bit, now they're rapidly filling drinks and they're like underwater already. So you know that they are waiting for you, and they're not the only ones waiting for you. There's like a bunch of people and they all have expectations for you right now, and you're no time mage.
Nope. It's like, did I take a dot? No, I didn't. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, great. Active mage site. Let's actually get a look at what is happening out here. So that will be mind, spirit, and space.
One thing that you can tell is that these people here have this spirit of hatred kind of hanging over them like a malaise. You don't think that this is a mage's activity that's done this. It looks like either a natural spirit or a spirit that's been put there by the spirit world of hatred, which is confusing to you. But it's not entirely unexpected. There's a lot of stuff that's going down after whatever happened in Salem. People have been pretty mad. There is a connotation that this bar has with being tied into the culture of the occult. It wasn't a bar, but it was like a little crystal shop, and it's just 2 blocks down the road. It was set on fire 2 nights ago. And it wasn't a haven of a mage. It was just a place that happened to be associated with witchcraft. The other thing that you notice is that while there is like a rank 1 spirit of hatred over those people, there is a rank 5, 2 rank 5 spirits walking towards you. And they are these 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That part is fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Drifter's used to this kind of thing.
If they keep proceeding forward, then it's just going to start out loud. No care of the other people can hear her. Like, no way. I'm not going in there. That guy threw my body on a pile. I know that we can go somewhere else. There has to be more demons elsewhere. Why don't we go to New Orleans like they did an interview with a vampire? It'd be so much cooler. I'm not going in.
Child, you are safe, you are strong, you can move in this world unhindered. This which you see before you is yet another challenge put here by God. We can persevere. I am with you, I am by your side.
The Stubbs, he threw me on a pile.
And that was very upsetting.
Yeah, it was.
As she looks at you, her face doesn't change, but it's almost like you get pulled into her eyes. And she says, "That was 3,000 years ago." And then it's like you get released from that.
Okay, I think I'm just going to tilt my head and look at her kind of the way like a puppy looks at you for a second, and then head back up. Still not, I still don't want to go in. Is there another entrance maybe? Can we go around the back?
You're a matter mage. You could make an entrance.
Perfect. Let's just go down. Is there an alley or something?
Yeah, this direction. Perfect.
At the door.
We'll deal with that in just a moment.
Where are you going?
And from Drifter's perspective, Ethyl was having a conversation with the air, right?
Yes, correct.
Fabulous.
I think Ethyl's gotten pretty good at not having them completely out loud, but yeah, you're pretty perceptive. You would have noticed a person having a conversation and then walking away. It's a different vibe than the rest of the line.
Right.
I feel too this is a place where like she's slightly lost her temper and thus is not being quite as careful as she probably usually is.
Drifter turned to Bouncer and says, "We're full. Everybody can. We're not letting anybody else in. I have a vibe." And then looks at the 2 spirits, points at them specifically, and says, "You guys can come in. We need to talk."
Yes, we do.
Man, Drifter already likes this one. Side thing, does Drifter know who the Nemian is?
Does the Nemian exist in this timeline? No.
Okay.
I don't know who the Nemian is because the Nemian does not exist in this timeline.
Man, this is the best timeline. It's that guy. Yeah, Drifter is going to lead them over into a cozy sleeper area, not into any back rooms, and just ask, "Gentlemen."
So are you going into the main lounge area? This is a very public area, but you also know that everyone is waiting for you there. Or do you want to bring them back to your office set?
Oh, that's true. I do have an office. Yes. We're just going to be a little flashy here. Drifter is going to motion them basically behind one of the curtains into a booth up here in this public space. And then the 3 of us are just going to disappear out of the booth and into Drifter's office.
As you are doing this, you do see that Lady Silvertongue. She's an older woman. She's got a cane and she's walking towards you, almost brandishing it as you reach the booth.
Oh yeah. and he's going to do the I'll be right with you. and disappear into that booth. We're not having conversation with that woman.
Yeah, I think that this is a perfect time for the two of you to have a short chat while I do absolutely nothing suspicious with Victoria over here.
Yep.
Here you are, separated from the entirety of all of the fools, and you get a chance to betray them. It sounds pretty great, but you also could just do your job. Do you want to go and vanish into the city, not stopping the demon? Hunts the Storm can handle it. Or do you want to break in through a wall of this building?
Oh man. Like both? Like I super don't want to be here. But yeah, Rides the Storm's great.
You can hear the music playing through the walls. This feels like one of those fun clubs that you never got to go to.
Oh, and I can drink now too.
Mm-hmm.
Can I magic up ID?
You can create the thought form of an ID, and you can create the plastic of an ID, but you don't have an ID here to look at, and you're not really sure how they're made of or what they can do. So you can have a fake ID.
Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. Okay, so I do that.
I've got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
What name do you put on the fake ID?
If I'm somebody else, or at least have a different name, then one, maybe that will kind of help hide me for a while. And two, if I start to get yelled at, maybe my friends won't hear it so fast. I'm going to use Bernice, which is the name of the woman whose teeth get stolen and probably the most upsetting post story. But so it's Bernice Ward.
So you are using the name Ward, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can only remember so much or I'm going to mess up.
Of course. And I think that Ethyl Stubbs, the ghost, watches you with interest on this, but makes no comment. You hear all of the music. Now, you could go in through one of the walls as a ghost or by deteriorating the wall, but you could also turn to a ghost, float past the bouncer in theory. One thing that does happen, though, while you're out on the street is that you see something interesting. There is a group of people in SWAT armor walking kind of down the street, but they're mostly like skirting this one building.
Can I kind of look at them quickly through a death sight?
They've killed people. They are not zombies. They're alive. Some of them have killed a lot of people. And some of them have killed like no one, but they were around some death.
So seeing them, I think I'm going to... I was originally going to make like a super cool looking door, but now I feel like maybe a little less attention. So I'll just go skate my way into this building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giving wide berth to Tattoo Man still, though. I don't want to walk nearer through him.
As you go into the building, you get like a little shiver as you pass indoors. The music is pumping here. There's people all over the dance floor. They are like, you know, really excited and ecstatic to be here. They are partying it up. There's a bar. It's a whole scene. What are 3 things that Ethyl starts doing as soon as you get to the bar?
Orders a drink in a really sloppy way. Like wants a fancy drink, but wants red wine, but wants to make sure it's in like a cool looking glass. Can you make sure it's like in a cool looking glass, you know?
Yeah,
like...
I think that you're gonna have to roll a manipulation plus persuasion check.
Okay. 2.
You get the bartender's attention, and they are like here trying to fulfill your requests, thinking that you are of age because you're here in the bar. How could you have gotten past the bouncer otherwise? Your ghostly guardian, the real Ethyl Stubbs, looking on, does not immediately shame you, but you do still feel her eyes upon you. She's disappointed.
Yeah, so I feel that, and immediately I'm like, oh, of course. Miss Stubbs, do you want something?
Try to think of the other two things that you do while I, just for a moment, jump into a breakout room with Drew and Ish. As you are walking out of the room, you do see that there are, in the garage area, there are a large number of vampires, and Hunts the Storm, you would instantly smell something wrong. It smells like an abyssal spirit. They are all in a circle, and they are talking conspiratorially as vampires would do. The thing that kind of pings on your radar, though, is that they are talking with mages. They're talking mage and vampire alike in this circle. They're mostly free counselors, so you can't really hold it against them. But you do see that there is a member of the Silver Ladder who is having conversations with them as well. Specifically, it is a character named Alexander who has been sent here almost as an assistant to you. Do you allow yourself to be seen by them?
Drifters have been having the past rough couple days. He literally hasn't slept. He's using mind magic to just recover himself. Yeah, you know what? I've got enough stuff going on. I think he's not going to sneak past him. I don't even know that he's going to eavesdrop. He needs to figure out what a mage is doing up there, but he's definitely like filing away that Alexander, one of his Silver Ladder allies, is meeting up with the Free Council allies and the vampires.
And not just any vampires either. These are like in Masquerade, they'd be considered the anarchs, but they're called the movement here. They are essentially violent revolutionaries. You know, not a thing that you always love.
No.
In your bar, that is. Not that we don't love violent revolutions.
Yeah.
Victoria, you're here with us now as well. What has happened in the time that Ethyl has been here is that you've gotten some drinks, you've wandered out onto a dance floor, and what else?
Okay, so I wander out into the middle of the dance floor, and once I'm sort of like semi-anonymous within like the group of people, I'm going to use magic to cause fog, and then to switch the song that's being played by the DJ to I'm Dying Alone by Blood Angle, and like just start dancing with her drink.
You can absolutely create fog, and you can do it in such a way that does not provoke paradox, because people would expect there to be fog that spontaneously appears. The only people who would not expect it are sleepwalkers, and they're going to look at their equipment like, wait, what? As for changing the song, you could pick a song that's on their tracks. You'd have to roll a computer's check to do it.
Yeah, I have 2. I mean, do they have access to the internet? Because I feel like I could just pull it off the internet.
All right, well then you could roll an intelligence plus computers check.
Ooh, 3.
You don't find the song that you're looking for, and you notice that almost all of the songs are different. They're just slight variations of the ones that you remember. It is at this point that Drifter, you do not lose this person in the crowd. You have walked through into the room, followed by Hunts the Storm and the Nemean, who quickly disappears somewhere into the crowd. You do see that other person here, down on the dance floor, surrounded by people.
I'm very glad that the song didn't change, because I think Drifter might be even more upset about that than the magic. Yeah, I think Drifter just like, especially for the Nemean and Rides the Storm, watched the complete demeanor change. He puts on a different persona. This is the bar owner Drifter, who kind of steps out and like holds himself in a slightly more effeminate, more androgynous kind of thing. He's got a bit of a sway to the step, and he's a guy who comes out and parties and hangs out and moves into the crowd, probably gets recognized by a couple folks, passes out some high fives, you know, that kind of stuff, and slips an arm through Ethyl's and leans over and says, "You were breaking a lot of rules, like really sotto voce under the music."
I didn't see anything. And I kind of turn my back and keep dancing.
The music's loud, it's hard to have a conversation here.
Take a big sip of my wine that I'm obviously handling really well.
And then I'll come up essentially right behind
Bless you.
Sure. And for Ethyl and put two hands on her two arms. Ethyl, we are here to hunt a demon. We can dance later, if that's what you desire. Help me.
You're always so business. Fine. Can I get another drink at the bar first?
You can
If
come.
Drifter allows.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can come to my office where I have good drinks.
All right. Twist my arm. And she finishes that one and drops it on the bar on the way back.
We do not go to Drifter's office, by the way. We go to the back rooms where the mages hang out and where things are much safer with a novice initiate behaving mage.
Because you teleport them, you don't teleport the ghost that you can't see. The Ethyl Stubbs, the ghost, is left behind. Dun dun dun.
One of the advantages of having access to the bar lighting is being able to make it pitch black when it's convenient to me.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say that you don't even have to roll for that spell. The sleepers look away for a moment, and then just all three of you gone. Just a subtle shift in their minds, and they didn't even notice it happen. And so you're in the endless hallways. What do these endless hallways look like? What does your nimbus feel like to someone passing through your teleportation?
The back rooms are much more blatantly mage pentacle. Like, you do not walk in here and not recognize that it is a silver ladder bar. Out in the main lobby, you have like the drink board, which is a funky little font, and hidden within it is high speech that lays out the rules about spell casting to mages. Whether or not Ethyl bothered to read,
Definitely
that's
not.
a whole other, yeah. But back here, it's not necessarily like old-timey wizards, but I love the image that you pulled for this, because it's a lot of wood, a little bit more intimate lighting, it's a little more relaxed, and not like the rock venue that is just on the other side and a million miles away. So yeah, it's much more like you could entirely probably see mages sitting with a grimoire out and studying. There isn't a bunch of rock music or anything like that. This is Drifter's sanctum that he is expanded out and open to other people, is kind of the vibe that he wants, and he wants everybody to know this is his place. So hence a lot of silver ladder stuff, and all the stag and lion iconography has been adjusted a little bit, because it now shows a stag and lion beneath the hands of what is clearly a powerful and intelligent sage.
As you appear in this space, you also notice that there are people who are here. Drifter, you would recognize them as a vampire, a new guest, since all the vampires had to leave their last safe house area. Probably someone who works with the prince, because this is the area that they've been hanging out. That is the Prince of Richmond, Virginia. And the other person is an employee of the bar, a sleepwalker. You're not sure what their name is.
Really don't like that. Oh, sorry, and I forgot my nimbus. Drifter's immediate nimbus, the feel that you have is the crowd turning against you, sin washing and bearing all your sins, guilty for every trespass, every bad thing you've ever done is coming to light. That's what it feels like emotionally. And then it's hot sun on your skin.
It deeply affects Ethyl, because Ethyl has so many sins that she is not accounting for. But Hunt the Storm, as you pass through this thing, it does start to almost feel like that, but as you realize that you have essentially no sins, Drifter, you would recognize this as well, because you've never seen this happen. Instead, the radiating heat begins to coalesce around Rides the Storm.
Putting that one in the back pocket. We're going to have to look at that later.
Well, that was deeply, deeply unpleasant, and I would like to not do it again.
Don't force me to teleport you places in the future.
Can I resist? Is there a way to resist?
Well, if you had space magic, absolutely. Or if you had prime magic, but those are not magics that you have. However,
Ethyl becomes
you
a
have
ghost.
any unspent experience points?
Oh, I do. But I think I also become a ghost and just follow behind as a ghost as my way of pouting. I have 5 experiences.
That's enough to grab a dot of something, but it's not really enough to get a counter spell, unfortunately.
I'll just become a ghost. I'm going to pout from the ghost realm, and I assume that I'm unteleportable here. Don't tell me if it's not true. I don't want to know right now.
Yeah, no, you turn into a ghost.
Rides a storm, I assume by now is just completely unaffected by this behavior. Like, doesn't even blink as Ethyl blinks back out of existence.
I don't know about that one. Hunts the Storm, do you have any reaction to this?
Generally, I always try to say something, but it doesn't seem to have much effect. So he would say, I would say, that's not very helpful. Okay.
Do you know what she did?
All right. As long as we stay on task, Ethel. That's the most I can ask for.
The younger of these two people, with their crisp black hair and strong jawline, walks up to you and says, "Oh, do tell. What did she do?" Just random, strangers walking up to you asking you questions about your conversation. No big deal.
Are they the vampire ones or are they mage ones?
I would say that you, with your death sight, can instantly tell that the person with the dark hair is dead. You've never seen anything like it. They are very profoundly dead. And the older person who is walking with them, is tainted by death. It's like there's death inside of them. However, the person in orange over here, not dead. And not a murderer.
It's weird that you say that.
Oh yeah, how much murder has Drifter done?
Define murder.
Killing, death.
Yes. He has done his fair share. And so technically still has 7 wisdom somehow.
You feel bad about it, I guess.
Excuse me, who are you people? What are you asking?
I am Rodriguez, and this is Junior. And we've come to make a request of the owner of the bar, but I didn't know that the owner had so many interesting friends. They gestured to the space where Ethyl has disappeared.
I think Drifter just says, "I don't have friends. If you'd like to make an appointment, please speak with Robin."
It's not for me, it's for the prince, and you've been keeping him waiting. He's rather impatient.
Interesting. I'm trying to think how Drifter actually contacts Robin regularly. I wonder if he just literally texts Robin. It's like, all this sleepwalker, all this magic around. You know what? Send a quick text. Just right here in front of these. Do I have an appointment with the prince?
And you get a swift response back that you can tell he's just not even dealing with anything else except for sending these messages. And he's going to respond back. The prince and his retinue are threatening to leave.
Okay, we're going to do this. And Drifter sits down, and I'm going to cast 2 Thoughts, 1 Mind. And we're going to have 2 conversations at once.
What is the plan for these 2 minds? Tell me more.
It's literally, he's just going to have the vampire representative sit here, and then rides, and is the Nemean still here?
No, the Nemean's somewhere.
Drifter, welcome to Drifter's really bad day. And basically rides the storm and Ethyl somewhere around here, and he's going to try and talk to them all just to handle this vampire business while also trying to figure out what's going on about this demon.
You can absolutely do that, but you are one physical body, and you can have a conversation with this vampire who seems to be pretty scary, or you could have a conversation with the prince. But you have enough wisdom to understand that vampires are not... They would find it disrespectful for you to be obviously focusing your attention on something else.
That's true. And I'm debating whether or not Drifter cares. But no, actually, that's true. I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them in my bar right now, don't I?
Yes. Yeah. Quite a few vampires, in fact.
Okay. Rides the Storm, I apologize. You have my leave to investigate and speak to folks here, and perhaps Ethyl will be able to assist you in your investigation. I need to go speak to a vampire.
I understand. Once you're done with these vampires, I could use your assistance on my quest.
Anything to maintain the safety of my bar. Which Drifter is also kind of saying to himself for why he is giving up a magical mystery to go talk to a vampire.
You know, you're on your way out of the room towards that area when suddenly from the other wing, the other guest wing, comes a person that you used to know. It's Angel. Angel is a free counselor. They walk up to you and they're like, "Oh, Drifter, oh, thank God you're here. We really need your help. This is an emergency. It's going to ruin the building. The toilet is stopped up and it's regurgitating sewage all over the building."
He places his hand over Angel's mouth. This is one of the few people Drifter feels just fine manhandling. His hand over the mouth and goes, "It's a toilet. I apologize. It sucks. You are talented enough to handle this yourself. I give you leave." And walks away. It's just like, no, stop it. Stop it.
Which brings us back to Ethyl and Hunts for a moment, who see that interaction, I imagine. And I assume that you spied on that conversation, though.
Oh yeah, that's one of the main reasons to be a ghost. That and no one else can talk to you. I can't make sound from the ghost world to the real world, can I?
You are a master of death magic.
Okay, I can
say
talk into Hunts the Storm's ear, right?
You can talk into Hunts the Storm's ear, but
Right.
it will require you to physically lean right next to Hunts the Storm and whisper. Because it's not like you have mastery over sound waves, you just have the ability to turn something physical in the ghost realm into something physical in the material realm.
I'm gonna ask Ride the Storm if he wants to join me in Ghost Realm to sneak around where no one can see us.
Generally, yes. Let's go around and investigate as much as we can. But I would like to talk to this sleepwalker. Perhaps they know what's going on.
The vampires have followed Drifter because they're interested in seeing Drifter get yelled at by the prince. Chewed out, even, if you would. The other two of you are now free to talk to that sleepwalker who's just kind of like sitting there. Their face, as you can tell, is kind of like androgynous from this picture, and they've got these long gray, they look like they're not their real hairs, like extensions dreaded into their hair.
Greetings, friend. I am one of the fools. My name is Rides the Storm, and I'm here to investigate trouble. Have you seen or participated in any trouble tonight?
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who are you? You must be a wizard.
Of sorts, yes.
Oh, well, that door, they point you towards the door on the right. That's your door. You shouldn't go into the one on the left. I've been told to tell you.
I see. Well, thank you. That's very helpful. Do you know who is in charge? Who tells you who to speak to and who not to speak?
Well, that was the boss that you just... I mean, it's not like he gives me my orders, but we get it through the chain of command. It's very orderly around here.
I see. And normally it's very orderly, but tonight, is that the case as well? There seems to be an aura of malice about.
Roll a wits empathy check.
I'll spend a willpower.
It's worth it.
3 successes.
3 successes. You can tell that they don't really want to tell you, but there is some concern that they have about stuff that's happening. With your 3rd success, you can tell that they're surprised that you aren't concerned as well. It's like they are aware of something that's going on that is extremely obvious to them and they think should be obvious to you, but you have no clue what it is.
I'm sorry. I'm not accustomed to such things. My name's Rights the Storm. What is your name?
My name is Listalel.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Listalel. 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 Yeah, it's my chosen name.
See. I understand. I have a chosen name as well.
Well, I understand that you're not from around here, Rides the Storm. He's listening to us right now. I can't tell you.
Who is?
No one.
Right,
I think that maybe you're looking for the place that has all the refugees in this suite. Maybe I can help you. Are you a refugee? I know that there's been a lot of that recently.
Yes. I understand what you're suggesting. Yes, I'm a refugee. Please lead me to where I should.
Great. We'll get back to that in just a moment.
Can I do a thing?
Please.
So probably, I don't know, about the time we get to the refugees, Ethyl wants to know what's down the left hallway. She's not supposed to go down. She's a ghost. No one can see her. She's gonna go check it out. But she says into Hunt's ear, that shh, 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 I'll be back, and then goes away.
All right. She's good at commissions.
You are going to be led into this room where there are some people, quite a few people actually, that all look pretty strange. I think you'd very quickly be able to identify that they look kind of like wizards. Some of them are playing with magic gizmos. One of them has definitely got like a whole electronic setup here, which looks like a bunch of magic tools to you. And the other thing that you would notice is that this room smells appallingly like human feces.
I was about to complain, but we literally just covered this.
Yeah. And there's more. It's a clue. The vampires here are pretty displeased about the whole situation. And the Prince Julian here, has been having a long, in-depth conversation with Drifter about further accommodations for vampires coming through this area, but he himself will be leaving. He is going to leave Rodriguez, that's this rude vampire, here to watch over you, he says. How are you taking it?
I am providing a service for Tarata in exchange for favors and further services in exchange. Correct, Julian?
Yes. And as you know, the bill is in our favor up until tonight. So, what's your price then?
I'm just making sure that we are on the same page. If you wish to leave and depart my protection, you are welcome to. However, I have seen friends of yours downstairs speaking with mages who are here in residence or visiting. I don't know that you necessarily want to leave.
This residence is no longer a location that I can stay in. I have other arrangements that have been made.
For yourself.
Yes.
And Drifter is saying this loud and making it very clear that the Prince of the Vampires is about to leave all his subjects. He's putting on the show, right?
Mm-hmm. And you can tell from those subjects that they are like real nervous.
So that's you are going to leave to your own accommodations and leave the rest of your, and like Drifter says this with like the foul taste of the rest of your kindred here, because this place is no longer accommodating.
I will take those that I need with me. We have duties to perform in the city. As you must understand, this is a busy time, and one of our skills can't sit idly by.
So you are taking your favored servants with you out from the safety here, because this is not actually safe.
You may frame it however you like. And you can tell with your excellent empathy that Julian is not used to these kind of conflicts of will and is very much resisting the urge to give in to the hunger and like attack you here in front of all these people, and is having to make a bunch of rolls probably right now.
I do have mind up, so I can tell when he's spending willpower.
He has spent a willpower in the scene.
Cool. Drifter kind of like settles in. He's like, cool. All right, we're going to have this out, Julian. His goal, though, is he's going to make this guy burn through a bunch of willpower and either frenzy in front of all his folks and break my rules, and then I can kill him, or he has to flee and lose a bunch of face, is kind of Drifter's goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do this as an opposed social role. These are, of course, vampires. So he's got a giant big old pool of 13 dice on this roll. Sure. And you would be rolling some sort of, let's say it's mind, because you've enhanced your mental abilities, plus manipulation.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Plus skill, probably subterfuge is my guess.
Yeah, because he is trying to be subtle about it. I dig this. He's rolling 13, and guess what? So am I.
Ooh, it's a roll-off.
I got
versus
2.
A vampire prince. He got 3. It's a close contest of wills. In the end, you don't make him spend any more willpower, and he realizes what you are doing. It's not that he wins the social contest, it's just that he sees what you're doing as his success there.
Yeah, we don't have time for that. I have too many things to do. I imagine he's, it's to put in a physical kind of thing. He has backed off and is just kind of deflecting my barbs at this point then?
Yeah, okay. He's
Okay.
kind of just like he's not engaging in the same way.
Okay.
He's just waiting for you to say the wrong thing almost.
Right. Okay, fine. I mean, there's nothing I can do to keep you here, Julian. If you decide to depart and I'm left with Rodriguez, then I guess so be it, and I wish you well. Drifter does not actually wish him well.
No.
Is there anything further like that Julian is expecting from Drifter other than to announce his departure?
He's announcing his departure. He's letting you know that Rodriguez is essentially
Agent here.
acting his name. Yeah.
Okay. He's gonna have to just let that one go, because Drifter can't leave that thread hanging. Not tonight. Yeah, so he's gonna be like, all right, farewell, thank you, Rodriguez, you know my phone number, and kind of step away and turn Mindsight on and see if one of his familiars is nearby.
Yep.
Cool. You can decide which one, but he's like, can you go get me, I believe is it the Alice Walker? And just let, no rush, just locate her, and if you're willing, make yourself known to her, and then let her know that I'd love to speak with her sometime in earshot of Rodriguez.
Absolutely. You're like, I'm going to go meet with your biggest political rival as you walk out of the room.
Yep.
Rodriguez is going to kind of follow you and start like trying to tell you plans, and you start doing one mind, two thoughts immediately. And you're like, yeah, I'm not really listening to this. You walk out of the room, but probably not before seeing Hunts the Storm. What has gone on in the room with you and the wizards? Have you just interviewed them all?
Generally, yeah. Just tried to interview them, see if the malady in here is caused by abyssal magic.
As you walk around, you're going to roll a wits investigate and add your primal urge. Do I give a penalty because it smells so bad? No, but it does smell really bad and you don't like it here. Necessary.
And I'll spend a willpower on this as well. All those dice. 1 success.
You don't detect any immediate abyssal presence in this room. Several of the wizards have interesting things going on. This one in particular, there's a man in a lab coat with this energy ball in front of them. And as you walk nearby, a spark flies off of it towards you, and he looks up in surprise. You have a short interaction with him where he mentions something about the necklace that you're wearing being radioactive, but you're not sure what that means. Then you turn and you see Drifter leaving the room with the vampires, and he turns and sees you. In that moment, Hunts the Storm, you feel a massive surge of abyssal energy. You can tell that it's coming from the room where Drifter just left. Ethyl. You're a ghost. Victoria, you watched the prince talking with Drifter, and you watched as Drifter left the room. Did you follow Drifter?
Okay, so when I went left originally, did that get me into the vampire room?
It did, and they are very impressive specimens of death.
Oh.
Like the most death you've ever seen. They're real pretty too.
Ethyl does a couple kind of serpentine walks around everybody while she's listening to that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because it feels like the juicier thing is leaving, she's gonna follow, Drifter and the prince and Rodriguez, is it, out the door.
I'd like you to roll a wits plus composure check.
For no reason, right?
For absolutely no reason. There's totally not going to be some sort of huge problem.
Probably not a great time to not get any.
Do you want to succeed at a cost, or dramatically fail, or just normal fail?
I always want dramatically fail. I'll pick that one.
As you are leaving the room, a feeling pulls across your spine. You feel this intense pressure as reality breaks in the death realm. The effect of this is that you take 5 aggravated damage, even in the death realm. Your pattern is ripped apart by abyssal energy, and it kills all of the vampires in this room. They explode into blood. You don't see what happens or see anything else that happened here, but you are pushed by a powerful explosion outside of this room.
I do have 2 dots of time magic now.
Ooh.
Can I try to do the thing that Parallax does all the time and just
Takes
back
3.
it up?
You could spend 4 experience to get a dot of time magic, and then you could do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, you now have time 3, and you rewind the scene. You undo the damage as you pull back. It does cost you a mana.
Okay. And then I'm going to kind of shake. I'm going to head back where Hunts the Storm is.
You drift through the wall, and you see Hunts the Storm. Drifter, you're leaving the room with Rodriguez when you see Hunts the Storm at the same time, except you get this strange feeling of deja vu, and then there's an explosion of abyssal magic behind you. You don't take damage in this timeline. You do still gain the beat from getting that dramatic failure.
Oh, Lord.
In terms of sensation, is like, does it sound and look like an explosion?
No.
Or...
In fact, you don't think that anybody else in the room besides for you, and I don't think even Drifter, you don't have like a 6th sense for the abyss. You just walk out of the room, you're feeling pretty confident about it, you see Hunts the Storm, but then as you're looking at Hunts the Storm, you recognize that you, Hunts the Storm, feel that surge of abyssal energy. And also, there's a ghost telling you.
What is that? What is in that room? What's happened?
That was the vampire room. I saw, oh my God, they're so pretty. And that room's so fancy. But the prince was leaving with Rodriguez and Drifter. And then it exploded. But then I did that thing Parallax can do. Probably not as good, but I think just as good. And then backed up. I would say even better. And backed up a second, and now I'm here. But this explosion still happened.
Wait, okay. Wait a minute. So there's an explosion? What kind?
I'm pretty bad. It hurt me in death, which that's
Drifter. There's an explosion in your room that you just left. You should investigate immediately. And I move towards the room. Ethyl.
The element wasn't my fault, though. That's important.
Well, is it not your fault? Who can say? Hunts the Storm, you brush past Drifter and open the door that you had closed just seconds before. Inside, you see that there is a black, tarry residue. It looks like flesh, but burnt, melted. And there is also quite a bit of blood. But there are very few to know intact vampire parts. Only the amount of body here that would be a quantity equal to the number of vampires that were here. The mass has been transformed.
Mage Drifter, did you do this?
Boy, do I wish, but no.
Then I believe this is the demon's work.
Then
I
why
figured
did
out
you
what
just
kind of
have a
demon-
fight? Why were you attacking the prince in his own space? And then you created this spatial effect and destroyed him?
Is this Rodriguez?
Yes.
Rodriguez, I want to ask you a question. Just really straightforward with me here. If I just did that to the prince, do you think that you, by yourself, should then turn around and try and blame it on me? What do you think happens to you next?
You roll an manipulate, intimidate.
Okay.
Add your mind because you've enhanced yourself. This is an important situation.
I'll take 2.
Yeah, you think that you do kind of sway him into not accusing you here, but you have not made a friend in Rodriguez yet. You're just like knocking on the door.
It's like just stop. Just stop. I can't deal with this right now. I have to deal with that right now.
And you sure do. The sleepwalker here, Listelel, though you don't know that name, says, "Do you want me to do something, boss?"
Drifter doesn't even look over, is just looking at this and going, do you have something capable of doing something about this?
I got a mop in the other room.
I think we are well beyond mops. Okay. Just my day. Just okay. And like you can see Drifter working himself up to do something. And I think even just goes ahead and says aside to Storm, I'm sorry, I've been paranoid all day and I think I'm officially fed up with it. I'm just gonna keep writing it right now while okay. And actually properly call on Aura. So I saw her over next to Lady Silvertongue.
That's right, she's in the main lounge there.
Can you bring Aura Mata here?
Yeah, of course. And they're going to run off into the maze. You know it'll take them some time to navigate without a space spell from you.
Yep.
You send them off. And that means that Aura appears almost instantaneously. She's not doing anything. She's actually supposed to be watching you, and you teleported away from her. So
yep.
She's here now. She looks upset. What? My God.
Yep. I know you are a little limited in what you can tell me. Can you just take a look and see what happened a couple minutes ago? And like Drifter is trying so like every word is dragged out of him as he's trying to ask for help from somebody else.
Oh my God. Did you try to make the prince go into a frenzy? She says.
Unrelated. Keep looking, Aura.
What? Oh. Yeah, there's definitely something here, but it kind of looks like they just all explode as soon as you shut the door. This does not look like awakened magic.
You see nothing else? Seer?
I'm no seer. I can glimpse what's happened in places, and what's happened here is these people died.
Aura, please don't make me actually talk to an actual mage. I mean, nothing against you, but
I mean, I'll stay here and I'll keep looking at it, see if I notice any details.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, this day sucks. Drifter like has just moving down through the tears of everything sucks.
I've never tried it with a vampire, but I could try to speak with whatever's left. That a thing that you want me to do?
Is it a thing that you are willing to do? Because that's a lot of stuff going on there.
No, I know it's a bad day. Do they know something that we need to know? Why did they explode? Are we safe here?
We are safe here. We're not safe. No, you did not do this to me. Rudy is the only mage who has time magic, Lady Silvertongue.
Well, Lady Silvertongue is one of 2 mages who have time magic, the other being right here with you in ghost mode.
But I don't even know. Yeah, no, I love that. Okay.
Ethyl?
I'm gonna step back out of death into the real world.
There you are. You've returned to the physical world. It smells bad here, Ethel.
Yeah. We could all just do this in the death realm. Smells better. Why did the prince say why he was leaving?
He said it wasn't safe here.
But how did he know that?
That would be one of the things I want to know. Unfortunately, I don't know if Aura talking to whatever that is now would actually allow her to speak with the prince. And I don't know if that counts because I don't know that speaking with the dead works on re-dead vampires.
Can I try? Oh my gosh, can I try? Ethyl, before even getting permission, is going
Yeah,
to
of course.
see if I can call out to the ghost of the prince.
I normally don't make you roll for spells, but this is going to have to be a death plus gnosis check. If you'd like to add a yantra or two, you may. By, say, speaking in high speech for +2. Or using a tool for +1. Or licking some of the goo off the ground for +2. You probably
Please don't do that.
Ethel's not going to do the goo thing. I'll talk in high speech, basically, calling the vampire ghost here. It's taking a second. It's a lot of dices.
There's a bunch of death mages if Ethel wants to find a mentor who teaches death magic, but no.
I highly recommend Soul Tender. Top notch. One of my favorite NPCs.
Soul Tender. Amazing name. 7.
With 7 successes, you pull upon this thing, reeling it in. First of all, you gain 2 beats as you learn some interesting things about ghosts and vampires as you do this. One thing that you recognize is that vampires don't have ghosts, and so there's not really something for you to pull back to you. But you do feel through your connection to this dead entity that the place where there should have been a space to them is void. And when I say void, your body instinctively recognizes it as the abyss. You would have noticed with your 7 successes now that the vampires already had a bit of abyss in them, but this is more. It's like someone flooded abyss into their patterns and killed them by annihilating them just entirely. Their molecular bonds broke down simultaneously as physics around them stopped working. And there is no one for you to contact because they are not here. No one's home.
And it was only vampires in that room, right? There'd be no non-vampire person trying to
No
get.
non-vampire people, exactly. But you did have one vampire directly outside the door who was not affected at all. So it seemed to be very localized.
And it had initially hurt me as well, even though I wasn't a vampire.
Yes, we got a mystery to solve. You're a unit now. The 3 of you, detectives, unwilling allies, it seems.
I don't know about unwilling, but yeah, thrown together,
Medium willing.
definitely. Medium willing. I'll take that.
So vampires have been turned into goo, and Hunts the Storm, you've got a plan.
Essentially, Ethyl, if you and I could distract Rodriguez, if we can bring him to the side, and then Drifter, I think that his servant might have information we might need. I think his servant is
Junior.
Junior, yes. I think Junior might know. I think Rodriguez is part of what happened to the prince. I think if we can interrogate Junior, if you can interrogate Junior while we distract Rodriguez.
Well, Rodriguez and Junior have disappeared, so you will have to find them. But that is definitely a lead.
Oh no, find something. Whatever will we do? But okay. Why do you think that Junior knows something, Storm?
Just because he's his servant. He would be easier to break, to crack. I've seen a fair share of humanity, no matter what form it takes. Monstrous, abyssal, vampiric, ghost. werewolf, mage. It's all generally the same. So I think this Rodriguez seems like a malicious individual who probably wants, that's how these vampires work, that they want to climb up their ladder, as it will, and he would sacrifice his boss. In a room of all these vampires died, but Rodriguez did not. Rodriguez does not seem like an innocent party, and he seems to keep Junior close. So my instincts tell me that Junior has information that we could use.
Okay, I understand. So you don't think Junior did this? Okay, I'm with you now. Interesting. Yeah, we can definitely search them out. If nothing else, I do want to know where they went because they left in a hurry.
They sure did.
Let's go get them.
Where did they go? They went downstairs. That's where you want to go too, I imagine. Are you taking anybody here with you?
Yeah, we're all gonna go together. Hold that thought. Annahelle, what is up with the toilet?
I really have to go to the bathroom, man. It's just regurgitating. It won't stop.
I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to go look at this very, very quickly just because I need to make sure that this is not related. But I need to know. I need to confirm.
You're using your mage sights, and I'm going to have you roll space plus gnosis. Ethyl, the other Ethyl Stubbs, floats through a wall and says, this place is a maze, child. I've been looking. I'm searching for you. There's much going on.
Oh, Miss Stubbs, did you see the room where all the vampires exploded?
What a cursed thing. Just like in the stories.
Just like it. They're trying to fix the toilet now. I'm gonna respectfully stay out here and talk to you while they go fix that.
The free counselors here look at you. Though you wouldn't even know that they are free counselors, you free counselor yourself. Drew, did you get successes on that space gnosis check? 3. Typically, it's not a problem to have things enter or leave this extended space. But as you follow the space magic, you sense that essentially you would have the waste teleported out of this space that hadn't existed before to the local sewer system. That's not going through. The space magic is not working. It is impossible for the poop to leave this place.
Is the co-location portal, which is what Drifter would use, dispelled and like destroyed, or is it suppressed?
Definitely suppressed. The spell is still active, but it's just not working.
All right, Annahelle. Prime magic that shit. Excuse me, sorry. Well, yeah.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. And just fix the portal so it flows out. And then investigate what dispelled my portal.
I'm not really good at this magic stuff, but I'm pushing on it. It's not working. It's like there's something stopping it.
Can't believe I'm having to explain Prime to an Obrimos.
And yeah, no, he is a mage, and he is a prime mage, and he should know more of this, but he's also a free counselor, and recently awakened, and has prime too. So as he's looking at this thing, he's definitely not figuring it out immediately.
And that's fine. This is your task, Annahelle. And if you do this and you fix it, not it comes undone normally, but you fix it, I may owe you a favor, and we will discuss that later.
Bathroom temporarily dealt with.
The check mark, yeah.
Yeah.
I quote unquote summoned. It's not quite how it's going to work, I'm sure. Alice Walker, is she still down there?
You think that she is.
Okay. All right, everybody link arms. And truthfully, he just reaches out and touches everybody, and it's literally the whole entourage. She's grabbing the sleepwalker. Morton is like poking around, is just like, yep, you're coming too. At this point, Drifter just does not care. He's just dragging people in his wake. Also, he doesn't want to leave anybody to stab him in the back. Anahel, he half trusts.
What about your Silver Ladder Sleepwalker as well?
Oh, Aura? Yeah, she's definitely coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 6 of you and not the ghost who has just caught up to you teleport out.
Yep. Down to the garage.
Not to the comfortable courtyard, though you could be in the comfortable courtyard. No, you are in the danger garage. There are some cool things about this scene. There's a wizard here who has made himself part of the wall, which is pretty fun. He's a living painting. I really wanted to have more time with Rico.
Rico!
Sorry, next time, you're not necessarily anything other than a witness. And here we have it. You appear. And wouldn't you know it, Rodriguez has already come down here. The suspicious Silver Ladder mage who's been sent to aid you is not on the premises as you appear.
Oh, Alexander left?
Alexander has disappeared. And all of you can roll a wits plus composure check.
3 successes.
With 3 successes, you notice that there is a creepy masked figure watching you from above. There are a lot of vampires in this room, more vampires than are drawn here in this picture, and this scene could turn violent. It is a garage, an automotive garage next to all the valuable cars that you love and your office. These are your guests, but are they really now that there's been a murder?
Drifter is going to just appear and try and assume his menacing mage stance, which is mostly just hands kind of in front of him clasped and just kind of head tilted like, what is this? Try and pick up the, tail trailing words, try and figure out what's going on here, guys. Hi.
Your empathy tells you that these two are not friends at the moment, and Alice seems a little bit smug.
Alice Walker, did you commit murder on my premises?
No, I did not, she says, with a smile.
I had Pierce Deception up.
That's right, and she did not commit murder.
Okay. I know there's wiggle room there, but okay. Good. Fabulous. Glad to hear it. Rodriguez, do you know anything about the prince blowing up?
I know that she's the one who did it.
That's not.
You don't want to believe me because you're one of these, whatever you are, humans. But you should believe me. She's lying to you. I can't lie. That's a thing, right? You can't lie to a wizard.
Can't lie to me, at least.
These two are going to start monopolizing you. They're both rolling contested social roles to try to convince you that the other one is bad.
Cool. Fun.
In the meantime, the junior is here if you'd like to subtly read his mind.
May I also scan around with Death Sight to see who is most recently touched by death in this room? Kind of inspired by the question that Drifter had just sort of asked, was it you? Like, ooh, can I see who it was? Can I see who killed someone last?
You cannot see that anybody here killed anyone recently. The most recent person to kill someone is that last night, this biker guy did kill someone. As you look at him, his facial features change into a skull face. That's right. He's a scary skull face person now.
Interesting.
No one here has killed anyone according to Death Sight. Hunts the
Can I
storm.
use shadow gaze to see if there's any spirits, particularly any abyssal spirits?
Roll that dice pool for shadow gaze. In the meantime, Drew G, get successes on the mind gnosis check.
Cool. How's 5 do for you?
Okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about Junior. Junior is actually Rodriguez's son, and he has been alive for like 150 years, and he's sustained only by Rodriguez's vampire blood. He's in an abusive relationship, and he really hates Rodriguez, his father. He does not think that Rodriguez committed this crime, nor did he see anyone who did it. However, he does know that Rodriguez was approached by a mage here, and that mage was trying to convince Rodriguez that he should work against the prince. Specifically, he was trying to offer some sort of deal. That mage was a sallow-looking man, and you would recognize them as Alexander.
3 successes.
3 successes. There is no abyssal spirit here. However, a powerful abyssal spirit has recently manifested in this space. You can tell because it's like the spirits here are almost poisoned with it. It is at this point when the effect of a nuclear bomb essentially goes off in Richmond, Virginia. And the building is rocked by this wave, this blast, which kind of like shatters all the buildings around it in a nearby area. It's not a full nuclear blast, or it's not like a head-on nuclear blast, but it is the kind of blast that would ultimately demolish most of this building were it not held together by magic. And so I would have you roll your space plus gnosis as you feel it's almost like the nervous system of this building that you've lived in for so long, assaulted by some sort of massive force.
As it happens, Drifter mentally goes, "Damn it, Morton." Because it has to be Morton. See, where were these successes earlier? That's 8 successes.
You reinforce everything. All of the building is not damaged. In fact, it is the only building, if you do this, in Richmond, Virginia, that is not damaged by this blast. Everything else has lost a whole side of the building. And because it is so intact, you have no idea what did it because you do not see the blast thing unless you'd like to use a space spell to look out into the city.
Well, quick check over at Morton. Morton, I imagine, looks just as surprised and confused as everybody else.
Yes.
So
yes, absolutely.
It's like, okay.
Morton did not expect this to happen.
I mean, listen. No, of course, folks at home, you have no idea who Morton is, but that's okay. Just look at him down there. He's up to something. It's explosive-ish. I use inward outward eye to kind of reach out and extend my senses beyond mere walls and borders and things like that.
Great.
Oh.
Yeah. It's kind of a problem. It's a hundreds of feet tall demon destroying the city. As it is destroying the city, there are a bunch of what looks like supernaturally powered beings fighting it in the sky. It's like a superhero movie outside in your city. However, the beings that are fighting it appear to be mages. They're not casting a lot of spells, but they are doing magical things. And there's a lot of witnesses here. They are breaking the veil beyond repair. Oh, Mona's here.
Oh, shout out to Drifter. Drifter, just recently, there was a huge abyssal energy right where we are at. I think we're close. I think we're close to what's causing this.
Drifter is at a loss for words as he just seems to kind of stare off into space. He hears you and then goes, "Storm, believe it or not, this is now a minor problem."
There is a crashing as something hurls through the city, flying. The front side of the building is penetrated by a prime Archmage. People are just breaking into your house all the time. Charlotte, you can describe Mona.
No, see, the problem here is the wings remind me of an inspirational song. And Drifter, for some reason, has an unnatural hate for this woman as she runs. Legitimately, the first, it's been a long while since I've watched Wars in Witchcraft. Sorry, y'all. The first thing I decided to click on, something about an inspirational thing. Sure, this sounds great.
I don't know anything about fairies in the or not fairies, angels in the Bible, but do they have anything to do with holy water?
Sure.
Okay, Mona releases her wings, pull out my holy water, and then just sprinkle it on everyone and says in high speech, "Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna turn around and hurt you."
Everybody who hears it gains back a willpower.
What am I watching?
Thanks,
Yeah, I told my wife, I was like, listen, I don't know that she's in here, but if she's in this game, I hate her. So sorry, Charlie, this is happening. Drifter hates Mona. Sorry.
That's, well, totally legitimate. Mona has no idea that is true. And your office is just destroyed, the whole office. And for some reason, when you got hit by that monster across the city, you ended up in the same building that Ethyl and Hunts the Storm are in.
Sounds like fate magic.
Oh, hey, guys.
She's with you?
Yes, this is Mona, one of our fellow fools.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen what's outside?
No, what's happening?
It's like a cross between a dragon and Godzilla.
Outside, Hannah is turning their body into some sort of flesh net and trying to contain it, I imagine. You know, the usual.
Oh, is this a bar? Do you have alcohol here?
You smashed my good alcohol, yes.
No. I have a spell for that. I fix the alcohol. It just goes right into my mouth.
Yeah. The alcohol, only the alcohol fixes. You grab the bottle and you fly out. Go kill that demon.
Oh, boy.
Fools. That's the name you all go with.
And they manifest it all the time.
You know, you should really just find what you're good at and follow it, right? Yeah, it's inspirational.
I did, and then I made a bar that people came to because it was safe. And then you three, hang on, the scruffy one that you came with.
Miss Stubbs.
And wouldn't you know it, that the ghost of Miss Stubbs floats through the ceiling down into the parking garage as you mention her. And she says, "Oh, child, you need to take action. You need to help these people. Can't you see? You're hiding from yourself, but these are the people who are paying the price."
What am I supposed to be doing?
You can't hide from your power any longer. I know it hurts you. You have to look at it.
Do you want me to fight the dragon?
I want you to look at yourself openly and earnestly, child.
Yeah. I mean, I made a bunch of copies of myself that I can look at whenever I want. So, yeah. Did that?
I'm gonna give you a ghost hug. In the meantime, Rides the Storm and Drifter, what are you two doing?
Drifter continues because Drifter mentioned a third person, and then Ethyl started to talk to the air and appears to be
all the time.
Ride the Storm, the third that you came with to help destroy the demon that we're still searching for, and looks over to the vampires. This is relevant. I think it'll make sense. God, I hope you don't think your friend with the dagger. Actually, you have the dagger now, but you don't think he would have done that to the vampires, right?
I don't think so. I don't believe he would, but I'm not certain that he would not. But I don't believe so. I don't think he's capable of doing that. If you could locate him, then and bring him here, then perhaps that's a wise choice.
As you reach out, you don't see that man anywhere in the bar.
See, I think Alexander is the perpetrator we need to interrogate.
Right, and Drifter's that direction too, but he's like, hang on, need to check this box off because just above the table, Drifter wants to check off everybody who's weird and new before he goes after the Silver Ladder ally, air quotes. So he's like, okay, yeah, Alexander, and like looks over to the vampires. So you were talking to Alexander earlier.
I do want to make clear that this scene is happening with the garage burst open into a demon fight outside. The vampires are a little distracted at this current moment. They look over at you, and you recognize in their eyes some sort of hint of recognition that you are getting some sort of truth out of them, but they're not saying anything to confirm it.
Right. Fabulous. I think in order to try and locate Alexander and confirm he is not in the bar, Drifter's eyes probably roll back. I don't know how this would actually look, but he's going to start throwing his vision around to his familiars about the bar to see if he can locate Alexander. You just kind of flick, 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 flick. You know, everybody else has CCTV. Drifter uses familiars. It's no big deal.
Well, they're close upstairs to the door in this main area by all the people, all those sleepers, all those witnesses. They're all hanging out together down here.
Do I see him near Lady Silvertongue and Soul Tender?
Yes, that's correct.
Cool. Great. So I really don't want to teleport up there because that's not the way to... Actually...
you could just walk in through a closet.
Okay, fun. Storms, we're probably going to need the knife. Ethyl, you keep doing you. I've located our probable perpetrator, and I'm sure they're up to further no good and more abyssal tendencies. We have a Scelesti on our hands, not actually a demon. I would love your assistance.
And you shall have it.
Fabulous. And we're going to
before we go out of shadow, while you were doing that, Ethyl, if you could examine that shrouded entity over there and keep an eye on them or interrogate them, that will probably be important.
And because the Gray has been here for a few days, right?
Yeah, they've been around.
Okay. It's like, they've seemed harmless so far. So Drifter's like, it's a weird, cryptids show up here. But yeah, absolutely. Go have fun with that, because none of us have figured it out. Maybe Ethyl can. I love that.
It's like a fun thing Ethyl can put in.
Yeah, and are the two of you leaving Ethyl here, or are you all going together? What's the plan? Who's leaving?
Drifter is very much willing to and will bring Ethyl along, but Ethyl also seems a little, she talks to herself and has, and so he's like, you know what? I'm just going to let you do your thing over here, because last time, when you got to the bar, you were just doing magic in front of sleepers. So it's like, you know what? If she comes along, he will absolutely teleport her with, but at the same time, if you stay down here, it'll be okay. Drifter is just desperately trying to keep everything from falling apart. Never mind the giant hole in the garage.
What do you want to do, Ethyl?
You can, if you would like to, intentionally take Ethel Stubbs with you. She is still talking with you. She's trying to counsel you, you feel, but it's not 100% going through, it seems.
Okay. I think I'll stay with you guys, but I also want to know where the tattoo face man went.
You could get the answer for that from Drifter if you would like.
Yes.
And that's very close to where they're teleporting, in fact.
Okay.
Just out of character. I love the absolute non sequitur. Hey, we're gonna go hunt down some abyssal things. Where's your bouncer?
Non sequitur. Ethel's just been thinking about it the whole time.
Oh, I'm here for it. I get it.
Yeah, does not feel the need to fill anyone in, but just like, yeah. Where is he? I'll come with you, but where is he?
Probably at the front door, though, considering what has been happening outside, I totally understand if he's run home.
Or if he's causing something.
We will discuss this, because if you know something about my bouncer, I need to know.
Upstairs, in that bar where Alexander is, a bunch of gunfire goes off.
Whoa.
Yep. We are leaving. And at this point, he is assuming Ethyl is coming with, and so it's a nice big group. We're going to the supply closet.
Are you taking your ghost with you?
Yes, I am traveling with Miss Stubbs.
All right, bad news, everyone. The timer for the episode has run down, and the timer for the episode was that in this timeline, the hunters, specifically Task Force Valkyrie mostly, and their offshoot organizations, and other groups like the Long Night, Hunter the Vigil stuff, have started hunting witches because of a number of factors, including the fact that you changed history in Salem, and that rewrote the timeline in such a way that people are now more aware that magic exists. and they don't all like it. The unfortunate reality is that as the city is destroyed, the hunters are not willing to give up their plan of attack, which was and would have been, even if you had done something which, for example, caught the demon, would have stopped the city from being destroyed. The people who are outside intend to attack, and they do, firing weapons inside. It is not good here. And not only is it not good, but also we've got mages fighting sleepers. It's like a hot mess. I'm going to say that Lady Silvertongue is going to run out to like try to stop these people. And as you walk into the bar, you can see that the tattooed man, who Drifter would know to be named Ringa, is dead. He's been killed by the assaulting hunters. Drifter, you would also notice that masked figure that you saw in the garage is here.
At the same time?
At the same time. You would also notice that Alexander, who, while people are shooting bullets into the bar, is slowly drinking from a glass of whiskey.
Are the bullets affecting Alexander?
Alexander does not seem to be hit by the bullets. There are bullets that have sprayed nearby. None have hit him.
Oh.
Full disclosure, I can do that too. Which actually, you know what? Just for the record, Drifter activates space armor.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't like any of this. We're going to cast Alter Direction.
All right, so you redirect. You're going to roll a space plus gnosis check for this one. And while you are defending the bar, Hunts the Storm, what would you be doing?
I'll try and protect Ethyl and just get in front of Ethyl and probably turn into
You going wolf form?
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, you're going to roll a combat skill of some kind in your new wolf form to represent how you are taking on the hunters outside as well. And while they are defending the bar, Ethyl, you kind of like waltz right in. And second Ethyl Stubbs says, Ethyl, that's not your name. Your name is Ermengarde. Your name is Ermengarde Ward. I raised you, and I raised you better than this, but I only raised you for 17 years before they killed me. And you've learned a lot of lessons since then, haven't you?
Yes.
You know you're very strong.
Thanks.
I need you to be strong now. You're not a child, Ethyl. And you don't need me. You just need to wake up.
Wake up?
You just need to wake up, Ethyl. You don't need me. You just need to wake up. Drew and Ish, successes on that roll.
3.
4.
You are tearing into these hunters. Are you killing them, or are you incapacitating them in a non-lethal way?
I'm going to incapacitate them and not only bash them against, clock their heads together, bash them against the wall.
You're doing it. You're taking out these guys one by one. And
throw them far.
It's going pretty good when all of a sudden there is a whistling sound, and then all of a sudden a essentially energy beam blasts open the front of the bar. And in that blast, Hunts the Storm, there's a team that move in rather rapidly. And what is your defense?
My defense? It's fine.
They're going to do some huntery things, and they're going to kind of like work one side, then the other. If you'd like to spend a willpower, you can further increase your defense, which would mean that they would be rolling 3 dice rather than 5.
I will do that.
Okay. As they move around to the side, you see that one of them has what looks like a long tube in their hand. And they do get successes, and they do jab you with that tube. You feel something pinch in your side. You take no damage, but you're immediately cut off from the wolf and shift back into human form. It is devastatingly painful. Not in a physical nerves kind of way, because werewolves don't care about that, but you suddenly had a connection to all of the spirits around you ripped away. You didn't know that anything could do something like that. Ethyl, Victoria, do you realize what you need to awaken from in order to save the day?
I don't know.
Well, Ethyl Stubbs is not a 21-year-old girl. Not really. Ethyl Stubbs is two people merged into one, the older and the younger. And you've been playing the younger ever since that merge. But the older Ethyl is the one that all the magic comes from. And she's been alive since Atlantis. You are not a teenage girl if you don't want to be. And in this moment, you can completely change the character of Ethyl and make her a 3,000-year-old death witch. Ethyl is both of those people. But they need a death witch now and not a 21-year-old girl.
Yeah, I will become the ancient strong.
All right, well, you've got fate magic. How do you want the scene to end? You can do anything you want to here. You see the tattooed man's body lying on the ground in front of you. You see the person that your friends think is the murderer, and you have the ghost floating over you. And you recognize that you've been an Archmaster of Death before and that you've given up that power. Giving up power is something that you are able to do as an Archmaster. But you recognize that you need that power now. That power can do anything. And right now, the situation is bad. The city of Richmond, Virginia is destroyed. Your friends are fighting for their lives. A demon is murdering people here in the bar. And also there's a bunch of humans who are attacking you. It's bad. It's about as bad as it could possibly be.
Can I undo the demon?
Well, you see that there is a man sitting at the bar, as if none of this is happening, and you can sense that they are somehow connected to the demon. You could undo the man, you death mage. Or you could have a conversation with him while there are bullets flying around.
Can I make the demon appear in such a way that we could, like, incapacitate it and imprison it on our ship?
Yes, you can. As you say that with your fate magic, you can tell that the dagger that Hunts the Storm has can imprison the demon inside of it.
Perfect. Is he still, if I look at him with Death Sight, is he still a person? Or is he just like an empty shell with the demon inside?
He is a human being, yeah. He's a human being who's gotten in too deep.
In order to try to convince Rides the Storm to do it, kind of protect the person's person with death magic in a way that will kill the demon but not kill the vessel, I suppose.
Yeah.
Deny the Reaper.
I'm gonna lock eyes with Rides the Storm and kind of in that like slow motion way in a movie where all of a sudden everyone's moving really slow and like you can have a dramatic moment, kind of mouth to him, you know, the dagger, and basically allow him to decide if he kind of dashes over or if he chooses to throw it.
I'll toss it to Ethyl.
The blade flies out of your hands. Ethyl, with fate magic, you grab it, stab it right through Alexander's heart. It comes out black, and Alexander drops to the ground unconscious but not dead. And that is where we'll end our session. All of you gain 2 experience points and beats for obsessions and aspirations. Thank you all so much for playing, especially you, Drew. Oh my gosh.
Dude, it was fun. This was great. I didn't have to calculate reach. Oh, this is great. This is fabulous. What every mage wants.
That's right. You'll notice you had spell ideas. They just happened because that's very reasonable. I do have some secret documents that I can now share with you, the players, but not you, the audience. Sorry, if you want the secrets, you'll have to come to our Discord. Thank you and goodbye, friends.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
You survived Archmasters. There were multiple Archmasters in your bar, and you lived. Is this wisdom sin in line with your obsession?
0 successes.
Oh, you do not mind at all. You do lose the wisdom, but at the same time, it's very empowering. You feel confident about this choice, and now I'm going to ask you a series of questions which are going to possibly undermine that confidence.